Simon Peter exclaims, "I'm going fishing." And barely is this non sequitur out of Simon Peter's mouth than the others chime in, "Me too." It is in the final chapter in John's Gospel that the followers of Jesus, those upon whom the future of Christianity depends, go fishing. And as sometimes happens when fishermen go fishing, they catch nothing, not one puny fish. Just as the sun begins to peek over the horizon, out of nowhere, the resurrected Jesus appears. He is standing on the beach, and he's peering out toward the boat from which his followers are fishing. "Children," he yells across the water, "have you caught anything?" They have not. The Son of God, Savior of the world, he who suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried, yells back, "Cast your net over there." They do, and their nets fill with fish. So many are they and so large that these muscled fishermen barely have the strength to haul in the net. When they finally do haul it in and drag their weary, starving, and fish-smelling selves to the shore, there is Jesus with a fire going. He's grilling fish on the fire, making breakfast for his friends. And so it is that John the Evangelist brings to conclusion his story of Jesus, a night of old friends, recreational fishing, followed by breakfast on the beach. Now, if you are a fisherman preacher, you might take special notice of this story. It might even give you ideas, which is exactly what happened to the Reverend Joseph Secombe, a Puritan parson who loved to fish. Every year during the fishing season, Reverend Secombe took his vacation at Amoskeag Falls in New Hampshire, where he went to fish. Daily, except on Sunday, he rose early before the sun shone, packed a hunk of hard cheese, a loaf of bread, a jug of beer, lifted his rod, climbed upon his horse, and rode out to do what Simon Peter and the disciples did, go fishing. Once arrived, he joins his buddies, a parcel of other recreational fishermen. They wade into the Merrimack River, and there among the rapids and falls, riffles and rocks, they fish. They fish and fish and fish and fish, catching salmon, herring, alewives, and eels. Now the Puritans were outdoor enthusiasts. They spent a lot of time outdoors. However, whatever outdoor enthusiasm stirred in their blood, the stirring had to be stilled on Sunday. Sundays were for devotion, for prayer and Bible reading, for worship services, and all manner of godly instruction. That is, until the year 1739. It's in 1739, during the fishing season, while at his vacation in Amoskeag Falls, that the Puritan preacher, the Reverend Joseph Secombe, mounts the pulpit of a little rural church, a rural meeting house out where he was fishing, and he preaches a cheeky sermon. His sermon is an impassioned, pious, and scholarly defense, not only of recreational fishing, but of recreational fishing on the Sabbath day. Taking as his text the fishing story in the final chapter of John's Gospel, Reverend Secombe argues that the great creator of heaven and earth condones fishing as necessary to the health of the body, fish being nourishing and full of protein, and that it is God's highest will for us that we recreate and socialize even on the Sabbath day, by resting from our labors, enjoying one another's good company, and delighting in the gifts and graces of nature. He reminds his hearers not only does Jesus permit the enjoyment of recreational fishing, he even supports it and encourages it by pointing out where the fish are to be found. Joseph Secombe's sermon, printed in 1743, is the earliest known document pertaining to recreation in the colonial period. All of American fishing literature traces its origin to this sermon. So the next time you think of Sabbath rest, remember Joseph Secombe, this eccentric and devoted fisherman preacher, a Puritan parson who turned Sunday into a day of delights, a day of rivers dappled and dancing with sunlight, the thrill of the hunt, secretive creatures beneath the dark waters, the pull of the rod heavy with meat, the winning of protein and camaraderie. Remember our brother Joseph Secombe, who dared argue for the pursuit of recreation as a spiritual undertaking, in his words, inoffensive to God. And remember the conclusion of John's Gospel, a night of old friends, recreational fishing, followed by breakfast on the beach.